and Barbuda is emerging now as one of the most significant tourism destinations within the OACS and beyond. And it's important that we keep our country secured in order to ensure that we protect lives and livelihoods. And we cannot allow these criminal elements within the society to continue to terrorize our people. In fact, our people are now living in fear, thinking that the criminals are getting the better of us. But I'm convinced that we have the resources, we have the expertise, we have the equipment, we have the superior intelligence to develop the strategies and programs to defeat these criminal elements. And my remit to law enforcement agencies and all of the other supporting agencies is for us to literally lift our game and to show greater commitment to crime fighting, to take the fight to these criminal elements and to defeat them. And I say here that we should utilize all of our resources to ensure that these criminal elements are defeated in the interest of the stability of our country. We have made a significant amount of progress advancing our country during the last several years, but we did so in an environment of peace and security. And now that the criminal elements are literally undermining the peace and security within our country, it is important for us to now redouble our efforts and to make sure that we do all in our power to ensure that these elements are put behind bars. I recognize that we need an all-of-society approach to address this issue effectively. And even though we're gathered here as national security personnel and representing different law enforcement agencies, we have to recognize too that we must have strategies to engage the public, because they are also important from the standpoint of providing information to help us with effective crime fighting. We have already taken steps to strengthen surveillance, introduce more cameras, to provide more resources to law enforcement. And I certainly will speak to those in details after my initial comments. But in essence, we want every law enforcement officer to understand that they have the full backing of the cabinet, the full backing of my administration. So no one should feel timid about exercising their duties, that we are standing full square with law enforcement to defeat these criminal elements using all of the available resources to us. And I also add here too that even those criminal elements that may travel to our shores, they too must be dealt with accordingly. Obviously, even at the level of immigration, we expect immigration to be part of this fight and to ensure that we do not have criminal loiterers in our society. We welcome immigrants to our country to help to build our country, but where they're not making productive contributions towards advancing our country and they become a security threat, they ought to be deported. I'm told that there may be some of them who possibly are operating within the dark and shadows, who may not even have their time up to date within the country. And if that is the case, we expect the immigration department to round them up and deport them. Let me make the point here. I know some, especially those who are political opponents, may want to spin this and to exploit or extract political gain out of this statement. But the issue is here that the issue of the security of our people is of utmost importance, and it goes beyond any form of political preservation. So I'm not worried about the consequences, or let's say the political consequences, of taking these tough decisions against criminal elements, including immigrants who come to our shores to perpetrate criminal acts. They must be deported, because my administration has determined that Antigua and Barbuda must be a safe haven for all. A country in which residents and even tourists to our shores can enjoy our country in an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. And I also want to add here too that we owe future generations an obligation to ensure that we bequeath to them a country that is safe and secured from criminals. So we all have a responsibility to step up, to come up with the best strategies available. And I can say to you that whereas maybe in the past and maybe on the previous administrations that there were resource constraints in terms of equipping law enforcement with adequate equipment, vehicles, and so on, I can assure you that is not a problem, that we are committed to making whatever additional resources require available so that we can address the scourge of crime and violence within our country, and obviously to reassure the entire population that we are in control. Our population should not feel so insecure to the effect that they believe that law enforcement is failing. And as a top leadership of law enforcement in your respective areas, I expect you, each of you, to take full responsibility and obviously to introduce the various strategies that we discuss here with alacrity and to do so consistently. So, for example, we have a strategy of having routine, regular patrols between law enforcement, including the police and the military, and those must be as regular as possible. Done routinely, not occasionally, but routinely. And even in terms of having adequate arms and ammunition, if you don't have enough guns, let us know. We'll buy more guns, we'll buy more ammunition, because we must take the fight to these criminal elements. And by the way, there are not a lot of them. So we have more manpower than them, we have more firepower than them. And I'm saying to you that going forward, we're fighting fire with fire and steel with steel. So those of us, or if there's any among us who may be weak-kneed about this, the whole idea of this meeting is to certainly strengthen your resolve so you can understand how serious this issue is. And if it is, that is anyone who is within the leadership of these various organizations who do not have the will to fight crime with every ounce of energy and commitment, then perhaps you're in the wrong place. And I'll go as far as saying that we will willingly accept your resignation. And this is not to threaten anyone's position. This is just to reiterate how firm we are and to reiterate the type of commitment that is required. And that we must take the fight to these criminal elements. I know too that the issue of youth delinquency is a major problem. And I feel that we're playing with these youth. There's this notion that because they're youth that they should not be dealt with harshly. But some of these youth are among the most criminal elements, the most wicked and least compassionate persons within the society. And I say to you too that we want those gangs broken up. There must be no gangs in this country. Now I know that you have to be careful in terms of profiling. But I'm sure that we can develop strategies to break up these gangs. They must find productive things to do. And I'll go as far as saying that we have to target them. We know who they are. I've spoken extensively about the Tujili gang. They operate between my area and Fort Road. And I've said that they are some of the most wicked people you'll find anywhere in the world. Look at the type of guns and knives and cutlasses and so on that they have on social media, brandishing them, harming people, and literally terrorizing the society. Why should we allow these, I'm not going to describe them, to terrorize our people? And it's not that law enforcement do not know, you know. And these are individuals, notwithstanding the fact that they're youth, who should be targeted, and where they commit these heinous crimes. I'm going to make this point here, it is controversial. They're supposed to go to jail, not no juvenile detention facility, because they're wicked, they're cruel. They don't have any empathy for anybody. But that's not your function here. That's really a function of the judiciary. I understand that, but I'm just saying in passing that we have to deal with them pretty harshly. It was just Saturday I pointed out to the population that this Tujili gang hotting up the place, only to be told that they are now being interviewed, their members, for a particular heinous crime that was committed over the weekend. So I'm saying all this to say that notwithstanding the fact that they're juveniles, that we cannot skylark with them, we cannot be relenting to them because of their age. We have to be unrelenting, we have to be firm and take the fight to all these criminal elements. So these are my initial comments as we seek to ensure or reassure the population of our strategies and programs to secure our population, to secure our country from these criminal elements. Anything that is necessary at this time, let us know, and we'll make the resources available immediately. So this is not an academic discussion as to what should be done only, but to implement as we speak. Action. And it is within our power, but it certainly has to be within our will to fight crime and violence and to defeat these criminal elements.
All of us have one result, and that result is to grab and deal with crime in this country.
Well,
Prime Minister, I can give you assurance
what should you think?
that the men around me and the men over whom I have control have a choice. The choice is you either fight crime or get out of the boat. Apparently, Prime Minister, in all departments, we're going to use strategies to effectively deal with the situation there. We had a meeting privately with some individuals, and PM, I can see where there are weaknesses. We will correct that today. Prime Minister, it is necessary, as you said, that we have an appearance of presence in every area in our communities. You, sir, today have indicated that you've made millions available, or will make millions available,
Absolutely.
to supply the resources necessary. Therefore, I wish to make the point now, as Minister of Public Safety, Assistant Department of National Security, do your job effectively. If you believe for 1 minute, for 1 moment, that you are incapable of performing your duties, do the honorable thing. This is not a chance thing anymore. We want to maintain Antigua as being the safest island in this region. We are losing that. Let us don't make this continue to get worse. Prime Minister, as we discussed, will implement the programs necessary to address those issues, sir.
Okay, thank you.